Misreading a backprobe can waste time and money. In this lesson, we'll show how to backprobe sensor circuits correctly, so you avoid classic errors and prove the real fault. Most modern sensors have 3 wires: power, ground, and signal. To diagnose correctly, you need to verify that each path works, with a focus on what your test is really probing and what the ECU actually sees on its reference ground. Use the meter's black lead on the sensor ground, not chassis ground, when backprobing. Compare the voltage with spec under real operating conditions. If you use the wrong reference, a poor sensor ground hides from your test. Always check power to ground to battery, and signal to reference for expected values and abnormal drops. The ECU sees voltage across its internal ground and reference, not between the signal and the chassis. If sensor ground is compromised, meters across battery ground can show misleading normal readings, while the ECU gets faulty data. Always align your backprobing and data interpretation with what the ECU can really sense. Scan data shows what the ECU interprets, not always what's physically happening at the sensor if there's a hidden ground or reference problem. When in doubt, check both the direct voltage at the sensor and what scan data reports, and be alert when they disagree, especially with ground faults. The classic error: you see one abnormal value, perhaps using battery ground instead of sensor ground, and swap the sensor. But the real fault lies in a compromised ground, reference, or wiring. Never act on a single clue or unmatched measurement. Confirm with the right test points and compare results in context. Always backprobe at the right points. Check power, ground, and signal, using sensor ground as reference. Compare readings to live data, confirm under load, and never jump to conclusions from a single test. Following this path prevents wasted parts and repeat comebacks. Use this step to name the condition, the observed data, and the confirmation path that separates this scene from the rest of the workflow. This scene narrows the decision to one specific measurement or clue, then points to the next action that confirms or rejects the suspected fault. The visual evidence in this scene should explain why this test comes now, what result matters, and what mistake it prevents. To avoid costly mistakes with sensor diagnostics, always measure power, ground, and signal under load, and make decisions only after comparing the right evidence points.